Hi, how you doing? Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be giving some friends to lovers book recommendations. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to Trope Week. Every day this week I'm posting back-to-back videos where I pick a specific trope and give a bunch of book recommendations, and the first video is going to be friends to lovers. I love when characters have that established friendship and trust with each other and then it like seamlessly falls into a romantic relationship. Like, that's just my favorite. I have filmed a friends to lovers book recommendation video before, but that was when I first started my channel. It was like my first or second video, so the quality of that video is not great, but I still stand by those recommendations and I tried not to repeat any in this video. I have 10 books in total to talk about today, so if you guys want even more recommendations than the 10 I'm going to talk about, I will link that other video down below. For lovers, it just does it for me. I love sweet, soft romances, so a lot of these are pretty low angst and they kind of just are the books that give you butterflies in your tummy and make you smile. Like, that's the vibe of all of these recommendations. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with a historical, and it's the only historical that I'm going to talk about today. I feel like friends to lovers is not a very popular trope when it comes to historicals. There's a lot of like second chance romances in historical romances, or maybe they'll be childhood friends and then they got separated and then they have their second chance romance, but this one is like a true friends to lovers romance. The book that I'm going to be recommending is A Duke in Disguise by Cat Sebastian. This is a second book in the series. This book follows Ash and Verity. Verity, our heroine, owns a publishing company with her brother, and they're pretty low on money. She decides that they're going to publish kind of like a naughty book, something similar to like an erotica book in that time period, something just to really catch a reader's eye so they can make some money. Our hero has been friends with Verity and her brother for a really long time. He's also an illustrator, so Verity ends up commissioning him so that he can illustrate the book that she wants to publish. They end up having to work together, and they have been friends for a really long time, kind of avoiding their attraction with each other because they don't want to ruin the friendship. But since they're working in close quarters, romance happens. On top of all of that, there is a little bit of a twist in this book. Ash, our hero, is actually the lost heir of a duke, so he's struggling to find out where he fits in society. He didn't really grow up with a title, so now he's trying to figure out what to do with this title. This book, Verity, is bisexual, so it was nice to read about that as well, and I just genuinely enjoy almost everything that I've read from Cat Sebastian, so I definitely would recommend this book. Next recommendation is one that I've talked about on my channel, and it's one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and it is Smitten by Rowe. It's described as a standalone novel. I read it by itself, but it does tie into some of her other series, so if you end up liking Rowe's writing, you have a ton of series to kind of just binge. This is a friends to lovers romance, but it's also a rock star romance, and it's just really fun. It features Alessandra and Fish. His nickname is Fish, but they call him Fish throughout the entire book, which you guys will find out why. Basically, our hero is a part of a band, but he's not the lead singer. He's not the guy that everyone kind of crushes, more like the guy that everyone sees as a friend, as a jokester. He's definitely not what one would consider like a heartthrob. Our heroine absolutely loves his band, and she ends up meeting them at a pool party, and they instantly strike a friendship that turns into a long distance relationship. If you guys like cinnamon roll heroes, which is like the definition of a cinnamon roll hero. He's so sweet. I just love him so much, and I love that they started off like as a friendship and truly just caring for one another, and it just like seamlessly blended into a romance. Hero really doesn't have that much experience when it comes to dating, so you get these scenes where he's a little bit insecure, but really you can just tell he loves the heroine so much. And there's something so humorous about this book. Like, there was this one scene where he was like gathered around all his guy friends and he was trying to get advice on how to like bring our heroine pleasure, because he just wanted to make sure that he didn't mess up their first time, and it was amazing. The next one that I want to recommend is a fantasy romance, and it's very well loved. It is Radiance by Grace Draven. This is the first in a series, and you do have to read it in order. The first book kind of ends in a cliffhanger. It definitely leads into the second book. I recommend both books, just so you know, you definitely have to read it in order. Okay, it's a fantasy book, y'all, so I struggle with these names. It is Brishin and Ildiko. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. Basically, our characters come from totally different kingdoms, just like exact opposite kingdoms. They both are a part of the royal family, but they're not direct heirs to the throne. Since they're both part of the royal family, their marriage is definitely more of a business tactic, and they end up getting involved in this arranged marriage so that their kingdoms can have unity with each other. They're not attracted to each other at all. Like, literally, they actually find each other ugly because they look so different. There's a lot of cultural differences in this book as well. It's beautiful, seamless trust and friendship, and that love leads into attraction with one another. I adored our heroine in this book. She's one of my favorite heroines ever because she was so strong, so independent, and so willing to learn about her husband's culture. Like character-driven books, I think this would be a good one for you because we really just get to focus on our characters' relationship. I have finished the second book and I recommend that as well. That one's a little bit more plot heavy, but both are great. The next one I know I've talked about a lot on my channel, but come on guys, these are my favorite books, and I'm talking about Truth or Dare from Daniel Allen. This book follows Kingston and Simone, who are old college friends. They end up meeting up years later as adults because some of their other friends are getting married. They have a group of like 9 or 10 people who are really close and have kept in touch throughout the years, but really they are all best friends. Right before the wedding, they're all reminiscing about old times and they decide to play Truth or Dare. Characters end up getting dared to kiss each other, and instantly there is an attraction there that they never really had before. They had always been best friends, but the second they kissed, there was just like this really intense chemistry that they just couldn't ignore. I'm gonna read you guys the synopsis of this book because it describes it perfectly. It says, Truth or Dare can be risky when you're 20, but when you're 30, it can be reckless. I can't talk. So they're trying to keep their feelings on the down low because they don't want to ruin their friend's wedding. They also don't want to ruin their relationship, but I mean, their chemistry together is everything. Freaking loved our hero. He was so funny. I also loved how sex positive this book was, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. So this next book is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. I would definitely consider it in my top 3, and that is Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating by Christina Lauren. I know this is a really popular book, but I have to recommend it because it's actually what got me back into reading. I stopped reading a little bit after high school, but about 2 years ago, I picked up this book on a whim and just fell in love with the friends to lovers dynamic in this book. This book follows Josh and Hazel, as the name suggests. They have known each other since college, but they end up reconnecting because Hazel is a teacher and she works with Josh's sister. As soon as Hazel meets Josh, she instantly decides that they're going to become the best of friends. They end up forming a friendship, but they also kind of like hook each other up with different people. They end up going on a bunch of these really fun blind dates with each other, but as the book progresses, they're less interested in their blind date, more interested in each other, and it follows their romance. If I were to pick a perfect book boyfriend, Josh in this book. Hazel is super quirky, super bubbly. I know that throws some people off, but I absolutely loved her character. I just loved how confident she was, and she really didn't give a crap about other people's opinions. Josh never tried to change her. He loved her exactly how she was, and this book just chef's kiss. Mwah, perfection. Okay, so the next couple of books that I'm going to recommend are actually novellas. So they're just short, sweet, to the point, and I loved all of them. This one I want to recommend is Hefty by Jessica Kane. Jessica Kane writes a bunch of steamy, quick novellas. Actually my favorite Jessica Kane I've ever read. It follows Zach and Jill. Zach is a football player and Jill is a cheerleader. They have always had crushes on each other, but Zach is Jill's best friend's brother, so they have really kept their feelings a secret because they don't want to ruin their friendship. Jill's always having slumber parties at her best friend's house, and she always sees Zach, and they always pine after each other, so they end up deciding to see where that chemistry goes. They want to be each other's first kiss and first time, and it's just so freaking sweet. This is another cinnamon roll hero. I feel like all of these are cinnamon roll heroes. A part of like a series of novellas that Jessica Kane did where it featured thick heroes, and I'm here for it. So the next one I want to recommend is Resolutions by Lucy Eden. Lucy Eden writes some of my favorite novellas. I love all of her books that I've read. This one kind of takes place during New Year's, but you could genuinely read it any time of the year. It follows Mike and Jane. Jane wrote a New Year's resolutions list, and it is coming to the end of the year, and there is still a ton of stuff on her list that she hasn't done. Always been best friends, but Jill has always had a little crush on Mike. So as they're working together and going through the list that she created, it forms a romance, and it's just really sweet. Another one that takes place during New Year's and has like that whole list concept. This is the 4th book in the So Over the Holiday series. You don't have to read the series in order. This was actually the first book book I read of the series, and I completely understood everything that was going on. It follows Amanda and Ren, who became best friends online for their love of fashion, instantly form a friendship, and they're always texting each other and calling each other and talking to each other, but they've never met in person. Amanda is going through a phase in her life where she really doesn't know what she wants to do. She kind of wants to just have fun, do something drastic. So for New Year's, she decides that she's going to meet up with Ren for the first time in person. As soon as they meet each other, instant connection, like literally instant connection. Amanda sees Ren for the first time and she's like so taken over by her beauty that she ends up walking in the pool. Freaking loved that. Hand embarrassment, and I was like blushing when it happened, but it was hilarious. The girls are just so fun to read about, and I loved how they already had that friendship and trust, so their romance seemed so seamless and fun, and it was also a little bit steamy, so I like this one a lot. So another novella that I adored was Fluff by Jennica Snow. This also features a curvy heroine. The book is about Daphne and Alfie, who have been childhood friends, but Alfie ended up having to move away because of a job opportunity. He ends up moving back to his hometown when he's an adult, and he only wants to move back so that he can be with Daphne. They've secretly pined after each other, which is a trope that I secretly love. Well, not so secretly. They have a lot of childhood traditions and things that they used to do as kids, like baking, and they decide to kind of recreate those moments as adults and just see where their romance leads them. Both of our hero and heroine are virgins, and they're saving each other's first time for each other, and like I said, sugary sweet. Absolutely adored this book. Another cinnamon roll hero. Snow has another friends to lovers romance. I've never read it, so I'm not necessarily recommending it, but I'm just saying if you like Jennica Snow's writing and you also like friends to lovers romances, she has a couple. There's one called His Everything. I'm currently reading this one right now. This one has more of like a tortured, stoic hero. So the complete opposite of Alfie, who is a cinnamon roll hero. So I'm liking this one so far. So if you like Jennica Snow's writing, this is also another friends to lovers romance. The book that I want to recommend is another one of my favorites, and that is Go Deep by Risley Adams. Oh boy, this book is perfection. Everything about this book is perfection. Xander, our hero, so swoon-worthy. The heroine writes erotica books, but she's feeling very uninspired. She recently just went through a breakup and she is not really doing good creatively. She needs some inspiration for her books, basically, so she ends up commissioning her best friend to hook up with her so she can have some inspiration for her books. They've been friends forever. Their moms were friends when they were pregnant with them, and they've never really explored that romantic relationship with each other, but as soon as they hook up, feelings get involved, and it's beautiful and wonderful, and Xander can get it any freaking time of the day. Xander is a musician, and there's a scene where he's like singing to her. I die. I freaking die. Constantly teasing with each other and joking with each other, and they have like the more steamy, sexy times, but they also just like chill on the couch and eat pizza. I'm just like, yes, yes, this is the perfect romance. So, highly recommend this book. If you actually read nothing from this video, please read this novella. Like, this is my top tier recommendation. Okay, so those are the 10 friends to lovers romances that I wanted to recommend to you. I hope you guys found some really fun books to read, and I hope you guys are enjoying these videos so far. I have a lot more tropes to get through, and I'm excited for you guys to see all the videos. If you guys have any tropes that you want me to touch on, or if you have any recommendations yourself, please leave them down below. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Oh, wait, I'll see you tomorrow. We're doing a whole week of videos. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.